boy, he give me shivers.
Hey guys, it's Helena here. I'm here with Xeven, and we're gonna be talking a little bit about her latest song, Yucatan. Hi!
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
All good. All
Cool.
good on this fine Wednesday evening.
Yeah, where are you located on this fine Wednesday evening?
I'm currently in Jersey City, um, like right on the water, so I'm 5 minutes away from Manhattan.
That's
Basically, like
awesome.
one stop on the train. So technically almost in New York, but New Yorkers don't think that. They're like, people who live in Jersey, so uncool.
Well, what's your favorite part about being in Jersey City?
Oh my God. There's so many actually, and
Hmm.
I do not want to advertise it because I don't want the New Yorkers coming here, you know?
Ah,
Like it's terrible. I hate it. No, actually, better value for money in terms of rent. And like you can get a really nice sized apartment with like a bunch of amenities and like a gym and a swimming pool and whatnot. Our building has all of that. And then, like, I used to live in Brooklyn, and it would sometimes take me between 35 and an hour and 35 minutes to get to where I need to go in Manhattan. And here it's like literally just across the river.
yeah, that seems a lot more convenient. Well, what's one of your favorite projects that you're working on producing wise?
So right now I feel burnt out, to be honest with you. I feel like you know, everybody has had a tough few years, and like the beginning of 2021 was kind of me and my husband coming back to Jersey City. We spent some time in Europe over the summer, and before that we were in Miami, and we had some, just life issues that we needed to deal with. So I dealt with that, and then finally April. Yeah. Um, I released like a track that meant to be released for a while. And I haven't released anything from like January until May, but then since May, it's been like I've had 3 releases in a row, every month. I'm supposed to like finish another one to come out in August.
Hmm.
Um, but I would say by far my favorite in terms of what I worked on was actually Eagle, which is a song that I've previously submitted to Glass Factory, and it had influences of like um, Western films and Americana and a bit of blues, but still was like very kind of alternative electronic pop. So I really loved that one because it was like something kind of unusual for me,
Yeah, it
to
was
answer your
really
question.
unusual and really unique. I remember that really hooked my attention, especially on that platform because, it's one of those ones that a lot of people tend to like fit a specific blueprint, I've noticed.
Yeah, it was really difficult to place that track, unfortunately, but I'm hopeful. I think it has like this long intro that people tend to sort of like skip over because everybody's attention span is so short.
Yeah.
So my plan is to release a radio version
Yeah, that'd be
in the fall.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna chop the intro off and silence the profanities, and that'll be all good. It'll be good for
Well,
the kids.
yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it, but yeah, I did enjoy the original. It was really unique. So, I wanted to like talk a little bit about your upbringing. You were born and raised in Tallinn, right? Tell me a little bit about how that upbringing shaped you as an artist.
Growing up in like I guess like a post-Soviet country, like in the 90s, we like my parents didn't really like have a lot, so I come from like very humble beginnings. That sort of taught me to, just be like quite independent and just to, like one of the biggest sayings in my family is like if you want something done well, do it yourself, right? And so I feel like that's one part of it. I'm a Russian-speaking Estonian.
Hmm.
So that like adds a whole other level of how you feel when you grow up, when you're kind of like a born immigrant. Because I went to Russian school. I did, go like do extracurriculars in like groups of Estonian kids and stuff, but there was obviously like a bit of ostracizing happening
Hmm.
based on that. But then also, I was no stranger to being ostracized at school
Hmm.
amongst my Russian peers. So, it's both like a personal and kind of a national upbringing, where this is just me being Russian, and then this is just me being me and being bullied and all these things. In terms of like artistry, I guess like Estonia was exposed to both like a lot of like the Eastern Bloc kind of influences as much as we were
Hmm.
looking up to the Western media. So I grew up watching Cartoon Network, for example, and Estonia didn't dub it, and thanks to that channel, I speak the way I speak today.
Hmm.
Um, but then on the other hand, like I was also exposed to like Soviet films and Russian pop music, and so I guess it's kind of like made me more exploring, perhaps.
So what brought you to New York then?
I signed a modeling contract. Modeling was kind of an avenue for me to travel when I
Mm-hmm.
was growing up. I did take it seriously. It was a dream to like make it as a model. But I'm more of like have like a muscular type of a body, and I started modeling when I was like 14,
Hmm.
part time. Um, and I was obviously a little too young. I went to London, and that was my first like modeling trip with my agent, and it was kind of like on and off. Puberty hit, and I started growing into the woman that I am, and there's a lot of criticism. I'm really glad that I didn't develop any eating disorders, but
Yeah.
it was like a difficult time, to be honest, like growing up with that and in that, and like adults telling you that there's something wrong with you all the time. First it was my teeth, then it was my acne, then it was, the size of my thighs, then I had to stop doing sports. And, it
Wow.
came from people that are very much like at the top of the industry. Like there was an agency from Paris, and they came to me and said, well, eat like 800 calories a day, lay on the couch and drink water. We'll see you in 2 months' time.
Wow. That's crazy.
So yeah, but then the whole fitness boom happened, and that was around the time my husband and I moved to Germany in 2015, and I was gonna completely give up on modeling. I studied business administration, majored in marketing. Like I was like looking for a real job, so to
Mm-hmm.
say. But then I signed with an agency in Berlin, and I ended up working like 5 times a week, built a portfolio, and in 2016, I came to visit a friend here in New York, and organized a little meeting with Wilhelmina Models in New York. I signed a contract with them in like 2017, and my husband and I moved here. Um,
Okay.
yeah, and for 3 years, I was honestly modeling, and then music has always been like a thing that was kind of a dream. I attempted working with other producers, but just kind of didn't work out. So when the pandemic hit, I'm like, if it's not now, then like it's never. So
So here you are.
yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. And then you've been releasing music since the pandemic then, pretty much?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My
How
my first release happened in October 2020.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so how have you been liking it so far?
I really love it.
Mhm.
I really love it. It's so cool. It's so creative. My favorite part is writing songs and like making demos
Mhm.
because it's the easiest. Um, but then, the sort of production part of it is can get complicated. I think the learning curve is like it's very steep actually when you first start out.
Hmm.
It's like it's really difficult and you can't get the patience, and then you're like, "Huh, what? Like what am I doing here?" But then once you've got the basics down, you're like, "Oh, now I can like go explore the software and see what else is out there, and see what kind of instruments and I can download, and what kind of samples I can play with, and what kind of plugins and blah blah blah." So that's all interesting, but I've also kind of taken the interest in kind of engineering my own
Hmm.
music
That's
on the
cool.
last three three singles, and that part I'll tell you. there's a reason why people go to school for this.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense, but I think considering that you're just picking it up, it sounds great.
Yeah, I have really, really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, I think in this day and age, we're all kind of living in this like digital space, and what I realize is that any sort of creativity can't really live without like being in the nature. But so like that's the one thing that I'm like, I need to I need to make conscious breaks and go out into the nearest forest. But
Yeah.
all in all, love it, living it, loving it. It's all good.
Sweet. Yeah, I totally relate with the whole needing to unplug and just go out in nature and just not do anything involving technology whatsoever. It's such a great outlet, I think. So I did want to talk a little bit about Yucatan. So what were some of the writing concepts that came up in the process of the creation?
I just felt like listening to my own like sad and slow melancholic music. I'm like, oh God, I'm just like getting more depressed. I need to write something happy. I need to write something sexy. It was intended for release actually in June. But so I met my husband on June 8th in 2012.
Okay.
And it was like a summer fling that started out. It's essentially about like how we met and how much fun we had, and it's like
That's
a
awesome.
little ode to the fun times I have with my husband.
Well, it's you're right. It is a sexy, fun track, and I do like that, and I like that shift in general for your sound. Do you think that that's going to influence your sound in the future?
You know what? I do really love rapping. I'm yet to like write more of it, but I think it's super fun. Like whenever I go to karaoke, I'll be like, okay, let's do like a Missy Elliott track or a Busta Rhymes track, or like,
Nice.
and then like do an Eminem track, and then yeah, I really love it because it was like a really good way for me to also get better at English.
Hmm.
When I was growing up, when I was dancing hip hop, obviously we were dancing to that sort of like it was like beginning
Yeah.
2000s, which is like the golden era of commercial hip hop music. I wanna do like something that's like more upbeat and that people can relate to, or like not necessarily relate to, but like have something that's a little more easy listening, because I feel
Hmm.
like I tend to create stuff that's like more for like active listeners. Um,
Hmm.
but I do also want to make music that's just music. That could be there, and like you don't need to be like all in listening and breaking down the lyrics and stuff. So
Yeah, but I still feel like you could do that to an extent with this song. It's definitely a little
appreciate
bit
it.
more like lighthearted and fun, but it does have the like it's still you. It still has that poetic and um like essence to it.
Thank you. I'm blushing.
Yeah. Yeah, do you have any additional thoughts about the single or anything like that you want to address before we actually start listening to it?
It was a bit difficult to mix and master because it does have a lot of like low end sounds to it. So that was definitely a challenge.
Hmm.
That's maybe one thing that I'd like to say. And then also, like, not an easy track to perform live because you need so much air.
Speaking of live, I saw on Instagram that you were starting to perform. How have you liked that so far?
I've done two performances in New York so far. I did the Bowery Electric and then Heaven Can Wait, which are both like Lower East Side. Like I would say like live music type bars. They're great for like people starting out. Like it has that air of like supporting talent, which I really enjoy
Hmm.
about these venues. And of course, like nobody knows who I am, so like there's a lot of marketing and word of mouth that needs to happen. But all in all, it was a great time both times. I really do like being on stage.
That's cool. Well, I hope to see you around soon. I'm gonna start the song. We'll stop it at a couple of moments just to discuss it a little bit, but for the most part, we could just listen.
Let's do it.
All right, cool.
Oh boy, you know that we only once and usually tend to pretend. No need to become your wifey, but I could be your special friend. As long as you call me a little earlier than 10 p.m. A bottle of wine, we'll open wine, and I'll work your tips BPM. You like when I put you to work, keep going, boy. I know you can take a break if you need, 'cause it's hot in here like you could tan. I know that at heart you only have the best in my intentions. I love this journey, it seems to be taking me to my destination. One time, two times, three times a charm. 4 times 5 deserve a fire alarm. 6, 7, 8, I think a flood is your fate. I'm so thirsty, must remember to hydrate. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a charm. 4 times 5 deserve a fire alarm. 6, 7, 8, I think a flood is your fate. I'm so thirsty, must remember to. Ooh, the boy, he give me shivers. He knows his way around. Yeah, I'm flowing like a river. My skin is burning up. I think I have a fever. I love receiving, but he know that I'm a giver. If only I had the time, it would be sublime. Yeah, this boy is my toy. I will play with all day and all night, all day and all night. All the time. Speaking of time, I look at the time. I think it is time. Do it one more time. I might be intense. It might be too much, honey. I'm just a woman in my prime. When all of it could have been, all of it said and done. Put on a dress that's better undone. The way that you treat me is honestly second to none. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a charm. 4 times 5 deserve the fire alarm. 6, 7, 8, I think a flood is your fate. I'm so thirsty, must remember to hydrate. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a charm. 4 times 5 deserve the fire alarm. 6, 7, 8, I think a flood is your fate. I'm so thirsty, must remember to. Thirsty, thirsty, must remember to hydrate. Counting to 8 and a flood was our fate. On the 5th time, had to disarm the fire alarm. 1, 2, 7, 7's the charm. Thirsty, thirsty, must remember to hydrate. Counting to 8 and a flood was our fate. On the 5th time, had to disarm the fire alarm. 1, 2, 7, 7's the charm. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a charm. 4 times 5 design the fire alarm. 6, 7, 8, I think a flood is your fate. I'm so thirsty, must remember to hydrate. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times a charm. 4 times 5 design the fire alarm. 6, 7, 8, I think a flood is your fate. I'm so thirsty, must remember to.
Oh, we listened to the whole thing.
Yeah, we did. I was like, it's just too good. I can't stop it. And I did want to just like have a couple of moments to talk about certain parts in the track. What inspired like the beat and the tempo with the flow of everything?
The first instrument that I had on it was like not even an instrument. I think it was like a drum that I put through like a filter, and it just had this da da da, this like da da da, and that was the first thing that happened. And then the thing is, I do not have like a musical education, and I kind of like go ahead and learn musical theory as I go along. But this time I was like, well, I'm gonna intuitively try playing some chords that I think I know, and the next chord progression came in, which is like that sort of airy synth. Yeah, and it was like, it was an interesting one because it had like one like suspended chord, and then the other one was a 4-note chord, and yeah, it worked really nicely. What was the inspiration behind it? I mean, I think like I listened to a lot of Need to Know before I started producing this, and I was like kind of like just having it in my mind and like taking little elements from it and just like trying to put my own spin on it, I guess.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed it. You definitely made it your own.
It was just like super temperamental because I have like I think 4 different bass type instruments in there, and like when you're mixing, you need to like find a spot for each.
Moving on from like the introduction, I really like how you did the 8-step count in the chorus, and then like later on you made references to your artist name with 7's. Yeah, thought that was cool. It took a second for it to click, and I was like, oh heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that writing was like quite interesting because like I don't really I don't remember the whole process of it, but you know, sometimes when you're just like sitting there and like music has 8 counts and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm like, okay, well, I had my first verse down, and then I was like thinking of the chorus, and then the bridge part and like the reference to Seven, I wasn't gonna do that. I just figured that the track would be like way too short if there wasn't a bridge, and that was something so last moment. I was like, call myself a charm,
Yeah.
something like that.
That's very, I don't know, like I feel like I'm butchering like I feel like I'm butchering the meaning of the track or anything like that, but like I really they feel like that fits the genre. So, like just having that self-confident energy.
This thing is like, I genuinely believe like if you do not come from like a TV project, you need to like subliminally message to people like your name. Like, I don't know, it's just my theory, but I think that there's some truth to it working. So I've done like other tracks, like I did a cover of Seven Nation Army, by the White Stripes.
Yeah, I
Seven
saw that. The
Nation
music video was so cool, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
You made the music video and everything, yeah?
So it was me and basically 2 of my friends and then a makeup artist.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, it was like all girls. I kind of like creative directed it, and then we, like, you saw the venue was crazy, right?
Yeah.
So it's a nightclub in Tallinn, actually.
Oh,
that
cool.
I used to go to, like, since I was allowed to, and it has like these 6 different rooms, and like one of them is like this kind of Russian roulette looking thing. It's actually called the Russian roulette. It's like a round room.
Oh, neat.
And it's like lined with like red neon lights and stuff. And so, and then there was like a cigar and whiskey room, which was like all like brown and gold, and with these like throne like chairs. And then there was this like LED wall, and yeah, there's just so much to play around with. And like the owner of the club happened to have been one of my friend's friends, so it was like
that's cool.
close to 0 budget, and just like 4 ladies, well, five ladies putting their minds together.
So I did want to talk a little bit about just like the poetic diction that you chose to use. Like instead of just flat out being sexual, you chose to just go a little bit more into the poetic side of things, which I thought was cool. So I thought I'd comment on that. It was very intimate.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know what? Like, it's, I'm a romantic. I think that we can sort of claim our sexuality as women, but it doesn't mean that it now has to be in everybody's face. Yeah, I think you can be sexy and maybe even sexier by not really showing most of yourself.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it obviously depends on what you're playing. I am more for like the mysterious sexy.
Well, I think you executed it well and really beautifully. I also really liked how you split up each section and let each section breathe with those pauses throughout the track too. Like you would go really, really heavy and quick, and then you would slow down.
I just think that like productions are just a little more interesting when they have like pauses, and there's like, if you are struggling with a way to make your track flow, just like remove 1 bar of everything and it will sound different, it's like silence is sometimes very powerful in that sense.
I agree. It gives it a second for everything to breathe and for everything to really take weight.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Have you had any sort of like a visual row listening to this track? Because I'm gathering ideas.
Visual role? What do you mean?
Like a visual row. Like, have you had any ideas? What would you see the music video?
Oh, okay. Yes, okay. I have not had any visual at the moment, but I could get back to you on that. But first impressions, I'm just thinking of like a scene on the beach. That's kind of what I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. First impression, that's my first impression. But I don't know, it could be like Blue Hour to make it more soft and intimate. You know what I mean? So it's not like a beach party and everybody's dancing. It could be more like cascading waves and Blue Hour, and you're just wandering through. It's like more like a romance film versus
Okay.
dance party.
I think I have an idea for it, but the thing is, I kind of like always like to do stuff that people don't really like expect of the thing. I just like to kind of ask people what they would envision, something, what they would envision for this kind of track. But then I like to hear these ideas because I often feel that I'll have like something quite certain in my head, but then I also like to go in a more unexpected direction with doing things. So I'm just it's nice to hear that you see it as more of a like a romantic kind of scene.
It's definitely a more romantic song, even though it's, you know, like it's a romantic hip hop song, which is really unique and cool.
It's definitely valuable to hear that sort of an idea. I haven't really like thought it through yet. I'm just gathering
ideas and brainstorming.
See, yeah, I'm going to Estonia soon, and there are a lot of hungry creative people that want to do stuff. So
yeah, anything else you want to mention or talk about before we call it a day?
I would like to say thank you to Relaxed Dust and Spetty Sanchez. And yeah, thanks guys for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, you know, check me out, guys. Spotify, everywhere. And I would gladly just keep in touch and just be friends. Come visit.
Yeah. It was nice talking with you.
Same. I've very much enjoyed that. And yeah, looking forward to getting to know you a little better.
Yeah, for sure.
On that video.
Yeah, let's keep talking. So, yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.